Alright, so we've got more of these now. So the 1.0 have this old whiskey bottle has made a kind of interesting comeback. It's grown some clover out of it, and there's another little chickweed sprouting. So I suppose I pronounced it dead a little too early because it seems to have come back to life. This other container with the creeping fig is just completely stuffed with life. Everything's packed up to the ceiling. This little plant here, I think, hadn't sprouted last time I looked at this, and now it's here. It's a couple inches. And then you can see some interesting, this looks like roots growing off along the glass, so apparently it's getting water from the condensation directly. These new ones, the little onion I put in there is doing magnificently. You can see it was about an inch when I planted it, and now it's grown all the way up into the neck of the bottle, so it's about 8 inches tall. The creeping fig is struggling a little bit. There's some new growth here in the bottom left. It's kind of a vibrant green color, so that looks promising. And then in the one where we didn't put anything, there's one little sprout, but interestingly there seem to be these little worms that are slowly crawling along the inside of the container. So I don't know if those are in all of them and they're just climbing up the walls looking for food or something, or if I got some weird parasitic worms in this jar, but that's certainly interesting to see. And little sprout is a good sign, since that's kind of what we were hoping would happen in this jar. And the other two, it's kind of hard to tell. This one, the one little plant is kind of obscured by the condensation, and then of course the lichen is doing nothing as usual. And there seems to be maybe another one of these little worms. As you can see in all of them, there's a ton of condensation. So this was obviously more water than necessary. I haven't aired them out because I kind of just want to see what happens. Looks like there's a roly-poly who died. The creeping fig in this container, though, looks like it's doing pretty well. I think it's kind of a tropical plant, although you can see the clover I planted in the middle is all dead. So it looks like the creeping fig does best with this almost jungle-like amount of moisture, but most of the other plants do not. So I've decided so far I'm not going to air it out. Is that a grub worm? Never mind. Might be a rock. I've decided not to air these out so far because I want to see how things do with this just completely excessive amount of moisture. I know I said I expected to kill things, but the creeping fig I think is a tropical plant, so it actually might do pretty well that way. And I think that's it for the backyard ones. Okay, the indoor plants. Well, starting off with the Terrarium 1.1, we can see this one's a little bit too young really to have any noticeable results. There's still obviously a lot of condensation on the inside. Seems like there might be a little bit less, which is concerning since it kind of suggests that maybe they're not sealed as well as I had hoped they would be. You can see there's this lighter green growth on this part of this creeping vine suggests that it's building new leaf. So it's good since it implies it's alive enough to do that. Moving on to I think it's the only Terrarium 1.1. Yeah, all these others are 1.0. So, here we've got the old Hoggle jar. Move it somewhere I get better lighting. Probably should do that in all of these, but really the only thing that looks alive is the reindeer moss, which is probably the only thing that was never alive. So, there's a dead pillbug right there. He's been there for a while. They seem to turn pink when they die, which is interesting. Otherwise, there's not much of anything going on in here. In fact, I wonder if there's too little moisture. There's a little visible around the bottom and a little up at the top, but the soil has looked pretty much dry basically the entire time. And nothing new has sprouted. And some of the other, well, there is some condensation on that leaf though, which kind of suggests I'm wrong about that. But in a lot of the others, something, some new life is starting to take hold. And not in there. I think this story is similar in here. Still can't really tell if the grass is completely dead or just 90% dead. And that's kind of consistently the case with all of these indoor plants. I really think there's just not enough light to keep grass alive in this kitchen windowsill. Which is fine. I guess that teaches us something. Here there's some moss. This might still be alive. Otherwise, there's nothing much to see. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a pill bug when this was new, so it sort of suggests it might... Oh, right, there's a little sprout here. Hard to tell what it is. It's mostly just a root that comes down here and ends in a single leaf, which isn't really big or complex enough yet for me to identify. But it is something alive there. I'm trying to keep that corner pointed towards the window to ensure that it gets some kind of light. And then last and perhaps most interestingly, the pickle jar has sprung back to life. So there's, I think you can see, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but there's some kind of little bug went screaming away running when I set this down. I think you can see him in the dirt there. It's hard to tell with the reflection. Anyhow, so there's a little sprout here, little chickweed, little critter running around on it. Maybe I shouldn't try too hard to focus on it. You probably won't be able to see. There's some of this, what I call the creeping vine, and you can see this is its leaves. It's black and dead, and just there's a whole mass of it in the center. But along the edge near the light, and a little bit of algae visible over here, on the side that faces the window, there's a whole new little sprout of it and a little chickweed. So this is definitely good evidence that the problem in here is light. That we see the thing is, the ecosystem's kind of coming back just on the side where it gets the most light. There's also this red stuff in here, and I can't really tell if it's wire or some weird fungus or something that's a bright red color. I was inclined to think it was just a wire when I first noticed it, but it kind of seems like it might be spreading, which suggests a life form. So I'm pleased with that. I kind of thought these had just been like, well, you didn't give them enough light, they all died, there's nothing interesting to see here. But it kind of looks like there's something happening. Some fungal growth, some rebirth, that little insect I saw skittering I hadn't noticed before. So there is something still going on in these even after they look like they're well dead. But that's about all for the kitchen. Just for a little context, this is what the chickweed looks like when it's fully grown. So those little tiny things that you can see dying in the jars, those grow up to be like, I don't know, say shoulder height if I put my hand to the ground, so 2 or 3 feet. So they're not tiny plants. But they certainly don't get this big in the jar. Okay, once again starting with the Terrarium 1.0 jar, we can see it's got loads of condensation in here. Probably I think that's because today it's a little cooler outside than it is in the kitchen, so there's more condensing on the wall. Anyway, we can just about make out the plant through it. In fact, if I shake this a little bit or tap it, maybe I can get some of the condensation to drip out of the way. But, so it's really difficult to tell in the camera shot, but by eye you can see through. You can get it visible, I think you can see there. So it's still alive, but there is some brown on the tips of things, and I think this was one of the less healthy pieces of the original plant. It's definitely, oh, that's a lot better. It was definitely a smaller piece, so it has less roots to go on, so it may end up with some planting issues. But so far, after about a week, it looks like it's doing all right. I don't see anything else in here. Nothing new appears to have sprouted. Nothing's going on down in the soil. I don't see any creatures moving around, but that's, for one thing, kind of harder to see with this in the outdoor environment. So moving along to the Terrarium 1.0, the creeping vine is still not looking great. It's not black like the one inside is. That may just mean it's not decaying as well. But there's a little greenness here, so maybe it's not totally dead. There's nothing new growing in here. I see another pink-looking pillbug body. See if does the camera see it? Who knows? Anyway, it's in there behind the behind a clod of dirt a little bit. Otherwise, not much to say here. It just looks dead. There's kind of a fair bit of condensation inside this too. But our original creeping vine seems to be doing really quite well. There is still some darkness, and you can see there's this like bubble of water clinging to the leaf, between the leaf and the glass. Probably why a lot of that is that way. It's also up at the top, you can see it's kind of turning brown, which is probably because it doesn't get much light there. And the lower down leaves are a lot darker green colored, especially here in this corner. I think this is probably the south face of the jar. It's definitely where the leaves are less jammed up against the glass, and that probably is helping to keep it healthier there. Since this plant grows bigger than the available space in the jar, though, eventually it's probably all going to look like this and be basically dead. Still see some algae. You can see if you look at the bottom, there are just roots for days. This whole thing is gotten past the false bottom and into the reservoir at the bottom of the jar. And we can see up in the kind of peat layer. Probably should have done this on a sunnier day, but so be it. Yeah. Anyway, there's a ton of roots growing in the soil here. Fair bit of algae, but the whole thing is just packed with root growth. And if you look at the bottom, I can do that without flipping the whole thing over. You can see it's just all up in there. So this definitely needed more space. It's a real contrast to the other plant, which is dead, and it kind of suggests that maybe the issue here is humidity. So I think the creeping fig is more of a tropical plant. You know, here in South Texas, it's more arid environment, so I would expect the plants that I've harvested from around here to expect a lot of light, heat, and dryness. And they're getting light in here, but I planted them in January and gave them quite a bit of water. And that seems to have really given these local plants fits. Anyway, that's it for now.